Hey everyone, it's Kai from Cool Collectibles back again for another review. This time it's the Figma SP-056 The Thinker from their Table Museum series. Now this is a series of figures that I've been keeping my eye on now for maybe almost 2 years. I did see them come up on my feed and so on in some other reviews of this sort of museum classical art style of figures. And I am interested in sort of art and history and so on, so it really did speak to me and my interests. But the prices were pretty high. But just recently here in Australia, Pop Culture Superstore had a 20% off sale, and they did actually get a recent delivery of some of the newer figures in this series. And so at that sort of discount price with free shipping, I just couldn't resist. So I made an order for 6 of them, and they just came in last week, I think it is. And so I think I'll just go through them in number order. And this first one is The Thinker. Now this released maybe about 7 years ago now, I think. So it's been out for a while. And for me, I guess, it's a nice addition to the collection. It's something a little bit different, and definitely a conversation piece, particularly if you have the figure in some of these alternate poses. But I'll just quickly go through the box art. The box art I love because it's got all the sort of alternate poses that you can sort of do, and some really good ideas there. So that's of course, the default sort of classic look, and then you've got these sort of fun style that you can put the figure in, and I'll probably will go with that one in my collection, to be honest. But some really nice photos of the figure and the statue itself. And so onto the set itself. You don't get too much with it, but that's probably expected. I'll put the main figure aside for a second. It does come with the alternate torso, just so you can get into some of those different poses. The default sort of torso is really there just so you can get in that hunched over sort of contemplating pose that it's known for. Paint application wise, it's pretty good, but I'll go through most of that when I go through the main statue itself. Comes with the alternate head sculpt, which is pretty nice as well. Just a normal sort of expression there. I think some of the other ones have alternate expressions to make it a bit more fun, but this one's not too bad. And they did need this because the statue itself has the hand sort of with a peg hole in the mouth, and I'll show you guys that in a second. And then of course it comes with a whole range of different hands that you can play around with. So those are some nice pose options as well. And then lastly it comes with the stand here with the sort of stabilizing thing at the back, and I think you can put that, not sure if you put it, oh there you go, there's a hole in the back of the torso there, so that can just fit in like so, just to give you some more options for dynamic poses. But that's pretty much it on the accessories. I'll get onto the main statue. Hold on. Right, main statue wise, straight out of the box, this is pretty much the default pose, and it does really give a good representation of the classic statue by Auguste Rodin. I actually thought this was an older statue, but Rodin actually designed this in the late 1800s, and I think the original casts were made sometime in the early 1900s, so it's not as old as some of the other I guess the source material for some of the other figures, with you know, some of those going back a couple of thousand years. So this one's not too old, but I think everyone agrees that this is one of, I guess, the most iconic sort of statues and poses that you see, particularly if you're into philosophy, psychology, that sort of human thinking side of things. And in general, I think they've done pretty good in representing the statue. The paint application is really nice. You get the sort of different colors in the green texture. It is meant to represent the bronze sort of coloring, and I think the green is just some of the oxidization. I think that might come through for these particular statues in real life. I guess the only thing that is probably a negative from the figure perspective is some of these plastic joints. I noticed in the prototype promotional photos the joints themselves were painted similarly with the others, with the nice sort of you know, different shadings in green, but with this final production version, the knees and the elbows are just the sort of lighter green plastic. At least it doesn't stand out too much for the most part, but it would have been nice if they were painted as well. But I guess in the scheme of things, particularly if you are posing up the statue differently, it doesn't look too bad. And as I was saying before, the mouth there, it's the hand does peg into the mouth. So if I just see if I can unpeg that, you'll see the hole in the mouth there. So let's not try to put anything else in that mouth, but you get the idea of why they did that. But I might just start using some of the other accessories and give you an idea on what else you can do with the figure. Hold on. Right, so I've gone through and swapped out all the required pieces. The arms, the torso here, the head, were all pretty easy to do. The only difficult one was the neck piece itself. So the original torso was this. Getting that neck piece off was an absolute pain in the ass. I did actually end up having to dip it in some boiled water just to soften that joint, and then I was able to sort of just ease it out. Luckily there was no damage or sort of paint damage there, and overall once it's all done you get what really ends up being just a regular sort of action figure body. Overall the joints are really nice and firm, there's nothing loose. I think the elbows are really nice, so you get a good range of motion there. Torso is good as well, so you get lots of ranges of motion there, rotation at the waist and the hips there. You get the legs, so this is a sort of floating softer rubber piece, so that get lots of range of motion there, and the knees are nice and firm as well, and that gives a really nice bend there, and the ankles as well, and you do get the ankle rocking action as well. So articulation wise, it is really nice, and so you can get it into those running poses, the lying down pose, lots of fun stuff that you can put with this along with the other figures. So it really does take the night at the museum concept to the next level, and it really comes down to your imagination on how much and what you do with these figures in your collection. So definitely a great start to the series for me. The next one up in the series I think is the Statue of David, so hopefully you guys can give this video a like and subscribe if you like the look at the figure, and then stay tuned for the next one, which will be the SP-056 Statue of David. So hopefully you can stick around for that, and until then, thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers, bye.